Hi students. This is not an easy topic that we are about to discuss in cultural geography. However, it's relevant to our religion topic. Also politics, also population control, all of those kinds of topics that we've talked about regarding social identity, our ethnic identity up until this point. So in a previous lecture this week when we were talking about religion, I mentioned that religion is one of the significant ethnic markers that over the history of the world, certain groups have clashed over. Lots of groups have clashed over, but some of them get more press than others. And right now, one of the current events that's happening in our world today is the ethnic cleansing of different groups based on religious beliefs. So the example that I'm going to use is China and the Uyghur Muslims. Notice how I have this word spelled. I have it spelled correctly, actually, for once. I usually am a terrible speller. But the Uyghur Muslims, this is a small ethnic group that is part of the country of China. There are hundreds of different ethnic groups within what the country of China calls its national borders. Lots of different religious belief systems represented. Tibet is one of those places that you might have heard of in other classes. There's a free Tibet movement. The Dalai Lama, who is a significant Buddhist figure in the world, is a resident of Tibet and one of the key figures in the Free Tibet movement. But the country of China thinks of Tibet as part of its geopolitical border within its geopolitical border. And so in China, the government is very, very interested in having the citizens of China think of the government as the ultimate end of their life. Society, social justice, and the government as the ultimate end for which all of us are alive. However, there are many different ethnic groups, like I mentioned, and they have other ideas about what the ultimate priority is in their life. And the Uyghur Muslims are one example of such a group. So Muslim is somebody who follows Islam, a follower of Islam. And so in China, right now, what seems to be happening according to news reports, and I have an article for you to read about this after you finish listening to me discuss it. What seems to be happening is the same kinds of re-education camps or re-education schools that I mentioned to you during the language chapter. Remember, during language, we talked about how language has elements of power, so a conquering group can try to do everything that they can to eliminate an ethnic group's language in order to eliminate their cultural system so that their culture doesn't really exist anymore and they assimilate into a more dominant or more preferred culture based on the controlling group. So there are these re-education camps. China certainly does not necessarily call them that. It has kind of a sinister name to it. You know, there's implications there. But they have Uyghur children in these re-education camps. They are forcing Uyghur women to be sterilized. So this goes back to the population bomb discussion that we had earlier on in the semester. And there are also reports of torture and death, and when people die, harvesting their organs for use in either medical experimentation or for transplants. So this is another one of the human rights violations that's being reported regarding this issue out of China today. And so this is relevant to the religion topic because religion is a significant part of social identity. And therefore, the Uyghur Muslims are definitely an example of an ethnic group that is organized based on their religious belief system that's being targeted for what we call ethnic cleansing or genocide. So this is a current event. It's a vital topic in political science, in philosophy class, in history class, cultural geography, definitely sociology class. All of these different fields that you're studying right now as part of your general education curriculum has this current event that they could look at for, just a deeper understanding of what human rights is all about. Because, as I've mentioned so often before, in our cultural experience in the United States, we often have very what we call first world problems. We have freedom of religion and can't really grasp the idea of targeting a group based on their religious belief, let alone, certainly sometimes there are hate crimes where people are targeted based on their belief system, their racial category, something like this. Certainly there are hate crimes, but not as a dominant group targeting to exterminate a particular minority group based on their belief system. And I'm using majority or dominant here to mean majority or the most people in Chinese society, because the Han Chinese group is the most powerful and the most controlling culture in China. And the Uyghurs are definitely small in numbers and definitely minority in numbers compared to the dominant social group. So read the article that I have linked in class for you this week. Write your reaction paper about that. There will be quiz questions from it. It's 18 months old, I think. I was about to say it's a couple years old. It is from 2019, but it's a couple of years old. So you can look for an update to maybe what's happening now, because this has been in the news for a while. You might just now be hearing about it, but it's been in the news for a while. And so you could maybe look for an update for your outside source for this particular week if you still need to write a reaction paper, and make sure that you tie all of this into the fact that religion is a significant ethnic marker that identifies people within their own cultural group and also creates a significant effect on our microscale behaviors and in our cultural landscape in general. So text me with questions.